Have you ever wondered how a simple question, just a little spark of curiosity, turns into a discovery that people can actually trust? Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're going to map out the entire researcher's journey and break it down into a clear step-by-step guide. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a question. We're swimming in a sea of information, right? Opinions, articles, data. So how do we find answers we can actually rely on? That's where research comes in. It's the structured, systematic process we use to cut right through all that noise. Now, I want you to really focus on that phrase, increase our understanding. That is the whole point. See, research isn't just a scavenger hunt for random facts. It's a quest, a systematic mission to build on what we already know and get a deeper, more complete picture of how things really work. It's really easy to think of research as just a straight line from A to B to C. But the reality, it's much more like this diagram shows. It's a dynamic cycle. A question sparks a plan, that plan gets you some results, and guess what? Those results almost always spark brand new questions. Every single answer can open a door to a whole new mystery. So let's start where every journey does, at the very beginning, with the plan. Okay, so this first part, this is absolutely the most critical phase. This is where you create the blueprint for your entire investigation. And that whole blueprint, it all starts by locking in on a single, clear problem that needs solving. A truly great research project, it isn't born from some abstract idea. Nope. It comes from a real-world difficulty, a puzzle, or a gap in what we know that just begs to be filled. Let's make this real with a concrete example. Okay, check this out. This is a real research problem from a student's proposal. You've got state-owned banks in Sri Lanka. They've upgraded their tech, they've gone digital, but something weird is happening. Gen Z, the most tech-savvy generation out there, they're just not showing up. Why? That is the difficulty. That's the problem that needs a solution. So before you can add something new to the conversation, you have to understand what people are already talking about. And that is the whole job of a literature review. I love this hourglass analogy. You start really wide, casting this huge net over all the research in a topic. Then you slowly, systematically narrow your focus, filtering everything down until you pinpoint that one specific, unanswered question your project is going to tackle. And let's be super clear here. This is not just a book report. A good literature review isn't a simple list of summaries. It's a critical analysis. You have to question the existing research. You synthesize different ideas, and you use all of it to build the foundation for why your research is so necessary. You're basically showing everyone the conversation that's already happening and pointing to the exact spot where you're about to add your voice. So, after you've scoped out all that existing knowledge, you're standing on solid ground. Now you can look ahead and make a prediction. This is your hypothesis. It's a clear, and this is the important part, testable statement about what you expect to find. It's your educated guess, the core idea you're going to spend the rest of this journey trying to prove or disprove. So, for our banking example, the researcher is predicting that better digital marketing will directly lead to attracting more Gen Z customers. See how clear that is? It's specific, it's measurable, you can actually test it with data. This isn't some vague question, it's a confident prediction ready to be put to the test. All right, the plan is solid, the hypothesis is clear, now it's time to get our hands dirty. We're shifting gears from planning to doing. It's time to step out into the field and start collecting the raw data for our investigation. Now, researchers can take two main paths here. The deductive path, which is what our banking study is using, starts with that specific hypothesis we just talked about and then gathers data to test it. The inductive path is the total opposite. It starts with just observations and tries to build a bigger theory from the ground up. Here's another really crucial choice you have to make. Are you dealing with numbers or are you dealing with words? Quantitative research, like our Gen Z study, is all about measurement, surveys, objective stats. It's trying to answer the question, how many? Qualitative research, on the other hand, is about exploring meaning through things like interviews. It's trying to answer why. And what you see here, this is basically the researcher's toolkit. Each one of these tools is suited for a different kind of job. For our banking study, which needs to get measurable data from a whole bunch of people, the primary tool is going to be a structured online questionnaire. They're going to send it to over 100 Gen Z individuals. Okay, the evidence is in. You've got your pile of surveys, your interview transcripts, whatever it is you collected. Now comes the real detective work, sifting through all that raw data to find the patterns, the connections, and, hopefully, the answers to your questions. This is where it all comes together. You're taking those raw numbers from a survey or pages of interview text and turning them into something meaningful. And most importantly, this is where you finally test your hypothesis. Do the numbers actually support what you predicted, or did you find something completely unexpected? And this isn't guesswork, not at all. It's about using the right tools for the job. Our student researcher plans to use powerful statistical software like SPSS. And with techniques like regression analysis, they can actually see if a change in one thing, like, say, a bank's digital marketing, causes a predictable change in another, like the number of new Gen Z customers. It's all about finding a real mathematical relationship in the data. Let's be honest. A discovery is only useful if you actually share it with the world. So the final leg of our journey is all about packaging your findings in a clear, structured way. And that package is the research report. And that report, it follows a universally recognized structure. It's not just some random format. It's specifically designed to make the findings crystal clear, really efficient to read, and this is so key, easy for other researchers to build on your work. Each section answers a specific question, guiding the reader logically through your entire journey. And finally, the references. You gotta remember, no research ever happens in a vacuum. The reference list is kind of like the map that shows whose shoulders you stood on to see a little bit further. It's about giving credit, of course, but it's also about connecting your work to that larger, ongoing scholarly conversation. And that's the journey, from a single moment of curiosity all the way to a verifiable piece of knowledge. Research is so much more than a process. It's our most powerful tool for replacing assumptions with actual answers. So you've seen the map. The only question left is, where is your curiosity gonna take you?